Last time, we saw how the Saiyan saga changed in this scenario. Goku hesitated to kill Nappa, and Vegeta ended up doing the job anyways. But as for Vegeta himself, he was actually able to escape, now trying to lead Frieza to Earth, just to have him fight Goku. Will his plan actually work out? We'll be seeing all that and more in this part 3 of What If Goku Became Kami. Goku ends up meeting with the other Kaio more often. After hearing about him from the North Kai, aka King Kai, they were curious about seeing him. Of course, some have a rivalry with King Kai, but at the same time, taking one of his students and training him better, that could be a nice way to stick it to him. But on top of that, Goku's just good at making an impression on people. Also, this isn't really necessary for the job, but again, Kami allows it since it'll make Goku more effective, and it makes him like the role even more. He's mainly impressed at how fast Goku's moving. Training with King Kai is one thing, but now he's going around Otherworld beating other Kaio. And a ton of different warriors in Otherworld too. He's learning so many different things at once. Meanwhile, in the living world, Vegeta plans his next move. He has to direct Frieza to Earth somehow, but also not raise suspicion, because Frieza's probably going to wonder why he wants to go to Earth, and why Vegeta was there in the first place. He's sure that Frieza knows about it. But Frieza actually does directly ask Vegeta, once he's finally healed up. Of course he wants to know more. Thankfully, he never found out about the Dragon Balls, so he's not going to Namek, nor is he going to go to Earth for the Dragon Balls. But he wonders why Vegeta went to that planet in the first place, and why only one of them returned. Nappa and Raditz are seemingly dead. So Vegeta has to come up with something on the spot. He says they thought the planet had some sort of value, and seemingly it does. Actually, as far as Vegeta knows, the planet might be worthless, but this is a way to get Frieza interested in it. But he tells Frieza it has a surprisingly powerful population. They were able to wipe out Raditz and Nappa, and Vegeta was barely able to escape. He doesn't know how much Frieza knows about the battle, but it seems like he doesn't know too much. That, or Frieza's just playing dumb. Just to see what Vegeta has to say. And Vegeta's trying to get Frieza to go there. But Frieza doesn't seem to care as much. Alright, well, if Vegeta wants another shot at it, he'll let Vegeta go back on his own later on. And who knows, if it truly is valuable, then Frieza will look at it himself. He can't really verify if the planet is valuable or not. He gets some other people to look into it, and it does actually seem worthless. But for some reason, Vegeta's saying it's worth something. And you know, Frieza's not really too concerned about that. He's more so happy about the fact that some of the Saiyans died there. But if what Vegeta is saying is true, he wonders if that population will ever strike back. They're apparently powerful, and Vegeta instigated. At the moment, Frieza's not too interested, especially because he needs to listen to some scouter recordings. But he can at least try to send some scouts to Earth. So that's exactly what he does. A year passes. Goku's going back and forth between Earth and Otherworld. One really big thing of note this time, Goten's born much earlier. Right now this isn't going to amount to anything, but Goten's born way earlier on in the series than he should be. He's born in age 763 instead of age 767, so keep that in mind for later. But to the point where we skip to, Goku's not actually on Earth. Thankfully, Gohan and Chi-Chi are still on the lookout, and Gohan's actually starting to look over things. He thinks it's pretty cool how Kami could see pretty much everything up here. And he tries to do that too. But much to his surprise, he sees something really weird. He sees a spaceship land on the surface, and some alien-looking creatures step off of it, wearing armor very similar to what the Saiyans had on. He could sense their power too. They don't seem too powerful. So without hesitation, he jumps off the lookout and flies down, with Chi-Chi following after him, wondering where he's going. And then Kami sees exactly what Gohan saw too. He thinks it's strange how they're doing more as Guardians than Goku is, but he knows that Goku's going to come back stronger than anyone. Plus, it's good to see that Chi-Chi and Gohan are learning how to be Guardian too, because they kinda will have a similar job. And down on the surface, Chi-Chi and Gohan defeat the scouts easily, with Chi-Chi able to get some info out of them as to who they are. And right as they get that info out of them, a blast comes in from above. Piccolo is nearby, listening in. And he finishes off the scouts. This will send a clear message to Frieza. It seems like regardless, he's going to come to Earth. Now, they don't know how strong this guy is supposed to be. But then King Kai butts in, also watching from his planet. He tells them they probably shouldn't mess with Frieza, but it's already too late. The fact that the scouts came there and they figured out that Frieza is going to come there too, it seems like it's already set in motion. And Piccolo says it's worthwhile to send a message to him. A message showing that they're not going to play around. Kami says he'll contact Goku. He's not too sure if anyone on Earth is going to be able to defeat Frieza, but Goku might actually be able to. Now, he hasn't seen Goku in a bit. He doesn't know the extent of his power at the moment, but there's a chance, a very slight chance, that he could defeat Frieza. Maybe he's underestimating Goku, or maybe he's being as cautious as he needs to be. But King Kai is pretty concerned and hopes this goes well, but he has no clue yet. Goku is still out in Otherworld training with all these different warriors who have died, and he's meeting other gods too, including guardians of other planets. He thinks it's nice to network like this because, as far as he knows, Kami never really got to know any of the other gods. And this is really weird because this is a first for everyone. Not only Goku being this outgoing as a guardian, but Goku being guardian in general, a Saiyan from Earth, who's relatively young too. Like, there's all these other people who are probably hundreds of years old. And then Goku, who's still in his 20s. But besides all the other guardians and such, Goku's just as interested in meeting all the other powerful warriors here. Mainly because he could learn all the different techniques of other species, and he learns more about these strong people, which is really nice. There's so many different strong people here, stronger than anyone he's ever faced. He could fight them to his heart's content, and he doesn't have to worry because they're all good guys. They're in Otherworld for a reason. There's no threat in training or fighting with these people. And Goku's definitely making rounds. He's a big name in Otherworld. And as word spreads, it eventually makes it even farther up the chain. One of the highest tiers of gods hears about this too. The Supreme Kai of Universe 7, Shin. Apparently there's someone from the living world, a mortal, going around and growing very powerful. He's slated to become Guardian of Earth soon, and everyone seems to like him. A Saiyan becoming Guardian of Earth? Kibito laughs it off. Besides, what's a living mortal doing in Otherworld anyways? Why is he there? He shouldn't be running around like that. But Shin says it's okay. As far as he could see, this guy holds a lot of potential. And he's going to be a really effective Guardian if he's growing this strong. He's a really interesting case, especially with the fact that he's a Saiyan who's pure-hearted. That's definitely not something that Shin sees every day, and that's not even addressing the fact that he's going to become Kami. So Shin's going to keep a close eye on Earth, and especially Goku. And he can also see that it seems like Frieza's going to be heading to Earth soon too. Shin might have to intervene to help, but he will see how this mortal performs. Although, it might not be fair to call him a mortal anymore. He's on track to become a Kami after all. And who knows where he'll go after that. After the first scouts arrive on Earth, Frieza arrives a few months later. It's not high on his priority list, but he decides to check it out. Vegeta comes along too, mainly to watch. He knows he's not going to fight here, but he's happy. This is exactly what he wanted. Frieza and Kakarot will fight each other, and one will just kill the other. Worst case, Frieza ends up winning and Kakarot's dead. But he'll get to see the extent of Frieza's power. He'll know what he's working with. He would love to defeat Kakarot himself, but this is a win-win for Vegeta either way. If Frieza dies, great. If Kakarot dies, well, he at least gets to see more of what Frieza's capable of. And he'll get to study Kakarot as well. Vegeta will know what level he needs to grow to actually fight Frieza, and could probably copy some things off of Kakarot. But Vegeta needs to act surprised when he sees Kakarot, because otherwise, Frieza will have known that he's been hiding a Saiyan. Although weirdly enough, as they land, Frieza turns to Vegeta. He asks something very bluntly. Why was Vegeta hiding a Saiyan from him? What? What is he talking about? What, did Vegeta think he didn't know? They were watching the Scouters, and they have all the recordings from it too. Of course, the Scouters did get destroyed at some point during the battle, but Frieza's not stupid. Now, without hearing about the Dragon Balls, he wasn't too interested in what was going on Earth. So he didn't listen in at first, but now he knows exactly what went down. There is another Saiyan here. That's why they went here. They were trying to recruit that Saiyan. And it seems like he and Vegeta are enemies, so why would he even hide that Saiyan in the first place? There's only one reason for that. He definitely was going to use that Saiyan against Frieza, wasn't he? Now, he did have to look into this, and it was kind of on the back burner, so this is only pretty recently that he found out. Although he was hoping that Vegeta would just go back to Earth on his own, because he seemed really interested in it. Before he even knew about the other Saiyan being there, he was hoping that Vegeta would go back, try to take it over for himself, but end up dying in the process. Or even better, maybe he and the Saiyan would have just killed each other. But now, Frieza needs to get his hands dirty, and he figures out that Vegeta was trying to betray him. He kept Vegeta alive basically as a tool, but he has no use for Vegeta anymore. He's going to take matters into his own hands. As the troops unload from Frieza's ship, Frieza lifts a hand up, launching a death beam right through Vegeta. With no more words exchanged, he casually walks outside, ready to cause havoc. But he feels a hand touch his shoulder. What, is Vegeta still standing, even after that attack? He turns around, and he's immediately punched in the face, flying right through his ship too, crashing into the ground outside. Vegeta doesn't know if he's hallucinating or something because he's bleeding out and near death. But it's almost like Kakarot just appeared out of thin air. And then suddenly, Vegeta doesn't feel any pain. He looks down at his chest and the hole that was there, it's healed. Even his armor's been restored. Did Kakarot just heal him somehow? Goku chuckles a bit, saying that teleportation came in handy. It means he could basically arrive at the last moment and waste no time. But Vegeta demands to know what's going on. And Goku says he has the right to ask that question if anything. He knows that Vegeta was probably trying to lead Frieza here, wasn't he? But he'll explain later what's happening and how he healed Vegeta too. And Vegeta wonders why Goku didn't just kill him on the spot. Well, Goku honestly should have just stopped Vegeta a while ago, especially because he was a threat to Earth. But Goku isn't worried about stopping him now. If he truly is a threat, Goku will deal with him later, but he does have some things to ask him first. Goku then vanishes out of the ship, teleporting right to where Frieza is. Appearing behind him and tapping on Frieza's shoulder, he angrily turns around trying to attack, and then sees another Saiyan standing there. He looks so oddly familiar, and not because it's the one that Vegeta fought. And Goku looks around at all the troops, and he's about to just wipe them out on his own, but he then sees some of his friends flying in. Chi-Chi, Gohan, Ten, Yamcha, Krillin, and even Piccolo. They all fly in ready to fight the Frieza force. They have been growing stronger in the meantime, especially because they knew Frieza would come eventually. But they're surprised to see Goku back. How did he get back here that quickly? Just like with Vegeta, he'll explain to them later. For now, he's gonna fight Frieza. A battle between him and Frieza starts. Frieza thinks it's a fluke that Goku attacked him. He just caught him off guard, that's all it was. But as he fights in his first form, he realizes it wasn't a fluke. Alright, he goes to his second form. Still, Goku's fighting him easily. Frieza has to go into his third form and it's the same thing there. And surprisingly quickly, he's pushed into his final form. And when he's in his final form, it seems like the battle's even. Although, Goku's still fighting really casually too. It's not like he's trying hard to even the odds with Frieza. This is where the true battle begins, and Goku's glad that he's showing off this power. Frieza does admit he's somewhat impressed. He didn't think this planet would be that powerful. Had he known, he would have called the Ginyu Force to deal with this, but it looks like they probably wouldn't even be able to fight this Saiyan. But it seems like this planet's a graveyard for Saiyans anyways. Raditz, Nappa, Vegeta, then Goku, and his kid. But Goku says Frieza's not gonna get anywhere near his kids. Kids? He has multiple? So there's even more Saiyans than he thought. But Goku tells Frieza he doesn't even realize. He didn't even kill Vegeta. Goku was able to save him just in time. And Frieza's destruction ends here, especially after that threat to his family, his friends, and this planet in general, plus a warning from King Kai. All that combined makes him want to stop Frieza right away. And as they battle, Goku does note something. He's looking into Frieza's mind during this battle, and he sees something really weird. He only sees hatred and anger. This is nothing he's seen before. He's seen pure good in others, such as his wife, his kids, and Kami. But with Frieza, it's the exact opposite. He sees pure evil. He thinks back to fighting Raditz and Nappa. He couldn't read minds back then, but he wonders if they were the same way. As he just read Vegeta's mind right now, it seemed like there was a sliver of hope that maybe he wasn't pure evil, even though he might claim it. He ended up having to kill Raditz, and he thinks he probably would have had to do the same for Nappa too. Although, he wonders if he would have seen the same thing within them. Would they be pure evil like Frieza? Or would they be like Vegeta, where maybe there was a shot at redemption? And Goku was hoping he'd see that within Frieza. Maybe there's a shot that he could just turn away and leave this planet alone. Frieza's sick at the thought of Goku even thinking that he'd be good. There's not an ounce of that within him, and Goku says he could see that plainly. It looks like he has no choice. Frieza is set on destroying Earth and killing everyone here pretty much. He could see that plainly in Frieza's mind. So, he tells him to use his full power, because while looking into his mind, he also saw that Frieza's still holding back. And he gives Frieza the opportunity to power up. King Kai shouts into Goku's mind asking him what he's doing, and Kami even butts in too, wondering the same. But Goku tells him not to worry. No matter how strong Frieza is at his full power, it's not going to be enough to match its current state. Goku's friends are able to defeat the rest of the Frieza Force, and just as they do, Frieza finally finishes powering up. This is going to be a nice test for the new thing that he's unlocked. Goku's been doing a lot of training in Otherworld, and he hasn't really unlocked a new form yet, even though he was looking for Super Saiyan. But he got something just as interesting, if not more interesting. It's an ability he created for himself, although it is inspired by King Kai. But as far as he knows, this is his own unique ability. After learning limited magic and spirit control, he now has the ability to heal himself and others, although for himself, that healing is really slow compared to healing others. But his self-healing is just as fast as something else. The speed at which he could heal himself is just as fast as the rate that Kaioken destroys his body. This new power is pretty draining, but now, he could use Kaioken without injuring himself because simultaneously, he heals himself too. It's a huge breakthrough, and he calls this Evolved Kaioken. A state of Kaioken that drains a lot of power, but doesn't injure him at all. Which means he could push it up to much higher levels. He shouts, times 50, and he's easily above Frieza with this. This might even be overkill. He's tested it out in fights in Otherworld, but this is the first test against a real threat. A battle where something is actually at stake. And just as another quick test, he tells Frieza this isn't the full extent of his power. Times 50 he could use pretty easily, but he could push Kaioken even further. For a brief moment, Goku's power spikes dramatically. Frieza just disappears. It's so quick that no one else can see what happens. They just see a quick flash of light, and then Goku stands there in base. Breathing a bit heavily, but he seems perfectly fine otherwise. In that quick moment, he used his ultimate power, Max Kaioken. Now, there's no set multiplier for this because it's constantly evolving. Whatever Goku's maximum with Kaioken is at the moment, that's what it'll be. At this point in the story, he theorized that Kaioken goes up to times 200, but it burns out pretty quickly, and he's going to continue to go beyond that too, and hopefully learn to be more efficient with Kaioken. He did that essentially to assure that Frieza's dealt with. Who knows, he might have pulled some sort of tricky maneuver like Raditz did where he attempted to blow up Earth. As his friends run over to him to celebrate, he sees Vegeta watching nearby, completely dumbfounded. Is Kakarot a Super Saiyan? Goku says no, at least not yet. He doesn't assume he is. He's been looking into how to attain it, but there's not really any Saiyans in Otherworld to ask, because, most of them are in Hell, and he really shouldn't go down there on his own accord. As Kami now, he has to be a bit more responsible, although he laughs this off. What does he mean he's Kami? Like, he's God? That doesn't make sense. And Goku says there's a lot of stuff going on that doesn't make sense. Sure, he's a low-class Saiyan, but Vegeta really didn't know what he was dealing with, did he? Although it's not just him who's in awe at Goku's power. Piccolo has the same exact feeling, and he wants to catch up to Goku in any way possible. And he has one sort of idea, but he doesn't know if it'll really work. This is where we'll leave off for now. What'd you guys think about this part? What's gonna happen next time? Leave any thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to see what you guys think. As usual, be sure to drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already. It really does help out the channel. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.